So, you've probably seen that little Affirm button when you're checking out online, and maybe you've wondered, what's the real story there? Well, today we're going to tear into their latest financial reports to really understand what's going on behind the scenes. We're talking incredible growth, a super powerful business model, and yeah, some pretty serious risks that could throw a wrench in the whole thing.
And their whole thing, really, it all starts with this very clear and you might even say idealistic mission: deliver honest financial products that improve lives. This is basically their North Star, the big idea that's supposed to guide every single move they make. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with that mission, then we'll jump into their frankly staggering Q4 growth numbers. After that, we'll look at the engine that makes it all go, this thing called the network effect, before we hit what I'm calling the wall of worry to really get into the risks. And finally, we'll look at what the road ahead might look like. Okay, so first up, that promise of honest finance. What does that actually mean when the rubber meets the road? Well, what it means is they're trying to build a payment network that's totally simple and transparent. The core idea is you can buy something now and pay for it over time. But, and this is their big selling point, there's no deferred interest, no sneaky late fees, no penalties. The price you see is the price you pay. That's the whole promise. But is that promise actually building a successful business?
So, let's see how that's all translating into performance. Let's get into their Q4 growth story. Because when you look at the actual data, the numbers are, to be honest, pretty mind-blowing. First up, gross merchandise volume, or GMV. This is just the total value of everything bought using their platform. In the fourth quarter alone, we're talking $10.4 billion. That is just a massive river of commerce flowing right through their network. And who's doing all this shopping? 23 million active consumers. Yeah, you heard that right. This is not some little niche product anymore. This is widespread adoption by millions and millions of shoppers. And here's the number that really makes investors sit up and pay attention: a 33% jump in revenue compared to this time last year. All those people and all that spending are turning into some serious financial momentum for the company. And this really just pulls it all together. It's not just one number that looks good. It's strong growth across the entire board, from how much is being spent to how many people are using it. This is what a company firing on all cylinders looks like. So what in the world is driving all this? And that brings us to the real engine behind this whole operation, the network effect. This is the secret sauce, the self-reinforcing cycle that's at the absolute heart of how Affirm does business. Okay, so here's how this flywheel spins. First, more consumers like you and me join up. That makes Affirm way more attractive to stores and merchants, right? So they all want in to get access to us. Now, with more stores on board, we have more choices of where to shop, which keeps us on the platform. All of these purchases create a mountain of data, which lets Affirm get way smarter about its decisions. And that leads to better, more personalized offers for everybody, which, you guessed it, brings in even more consumers. And the wheel just keeps spinning, faster and faster. And hey, we have cold hard proof that this is working. Just look at this number. A whopping 95% of transactions in the fourth quarter came from repeat customers. That is an incredibly powerful stat. It shows the network isn't just getting bigger, it's sticky. Once people are in, they tend to stay in and use it again and again. I mean, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? You can see the clear, dramatic, upward rocket ship of gross merchandise volume over the last couple of years. This isn't just steady growth, it's accelerating. So you have a powerful mission. You have explosive growth. You have a business model that literally fuels itself. With all of that going on, what could possibly go wrong? Well, as it turns out, quite a lot, actually. And now we have to turn to the wall of worry. And look, this isn't just my opinion. These are the risks that the company itself has to outline for investors in its official 10K filing with the government. This is the list of stuff that probably keeps their executives up at night. And this is where the story gets a whole lot more complicated. You can kind of group the risks into a few big buckets. First, you've got these structural dependencies. A huge chunk of their business is tied to just a handful of key merchants and outside banks. Then there's the market itself. They are in a dogfight with huge established competitors, and there's always the threat of more government regulation. And finally, you have the financial reality. Despite all this growth, the company has a history of losing money, which raises big questions about a clear path to being consistently profitable. And they don't pull any punches about it. This quote from their own filing says it all. They know they're operating in a highly competitive industry.
and that if they can't win, it would seriously harm their entire business. The stakes are incredibly high. So, all of that leads us to the road ahead and to what is really the central tension at the very heart of the Affirm story. It's a classic showdown, growth versus risk. In one corner, you have that absolutely explosive growth, a powerful self-fueling network effect, and customers who are incredibly loyal. But in the other corner, you have that heavy dependence on partners. You have intense competition, regulatory question marks, and, crucially, no history of actually making a sustained profit. And so we're left with the ultimate question, right? With this incredible explosive growth on one side, but a long and very real list of risks on the other, will Affirm's mission to build this new, honest payment network actually succeed in the long run? That's the multi-billion-dollar question the market is trying to figure out every single day.